Welcome back to the Electrical Building Design Show. Previously, I've reviewed 20 BIM packages for use by electrical engineers. There were a lot that didn't offer anything for electrical design, but there were 6 or 7 options that could potentially be used by an electrical engineer. In this video, I'm going to walk through how I would think about choosing which ones to evaluate to upgrade my electrical design process. For the vast majority of electrical engineers, you're going to be in one of two situations. Either you are using Autocad and Excel, or you're using Revit. If you're using Autocad and Excel, it could be a little bit different of a mixture. You could be using a different CAD package. It doesn't have to be Autocad. And you might not just be using Excel for your calculations. You might be using one of the other third-party packages for those. There is a third option, which is that you've chosen one of the other BIM packages already. If that's the case, you've made your choice and you should stick with that. You don't need to be evaluating other options. We can start with the easier of the two scenarios. That's if you're using Revit. So if you're using Revit today, there's really two choices for you. One is to stay on Revit as it is, see what features Autodesk adds to it, continue to do your calculations separately from it, maybe look for ways that you can do some customization on your own using Dynamo or other scripting. If you want to upgrade Revit, you'd be looking at electrobim as an add-in to layer on top of Revit. It'll give you single line diagrams and voltage drop calculations, fault analysis, selective coordination, arc flash calculations. That's really the two options you have for Revit. If you're using Autocad or some other CAD package, it's a little bit more complicated. First, I want to let you in on a little secret. You don't have to actually do anything at all. Your current workflow using AutoCAD and other programs is going to continue to work fine for the next 5, 10, 20 years. While a lot of people are talking about moving to BIM and to Revit, there are a lot of BIM packages out there that architects are using. And you, as a consulting engineer, are going to have opportunities to work with lots of different architects. Some are going to be using Revit. If they are, and you're using Revit, that's great. But what if they're using Archicad, or Vectorworks, or Allplan, or they're still working in AutoCAD, or they've switched to one of the many cloud packages that are coming out? Any of those, working in Revit isn't going to offer you any advantage. They're going to have to take their files, convert them to AutoCAD DWG files, and give you those. And then you can continue to work on them in AutoCAD or whatever you're doing today. With all of the diversity that you have for architectural packages, there's not going to be one engineering package that's going to handle all of them. So any architect who's not using Revit is going to have to be able to work with an engineer who is on some other system. And that system can be AutoCAD as well as any of these. That said, maybe you do want to upgrade what you're doing for electrical design. Then you come to two choices. Either you're going to stay in CAD, which can work because, again, architects are going to have to work with engineers who are not using the same BIM package as them, or you can upgrade to Revit. Those are really the two choices, staying in a CAD package or upgrading to Revit. If you are staying in CAD, there are two choices that have electrical packages that run in them. And that's going to be either staying in AutoCAD or moving to BricsCAD. If you're in AutoCAD, but you want to upgrade that workflow to an electrical BIM package, you have two options. You've got AX3000 or Design Master Electrical. AX3000 is based in Europe. They're going to match the European electrical standards a little bit better. Their electrical feature set is a little bit limited, but that's an option, particularly if you are based in Europe. Design Master Electrical is based in the United States, so it's going to match American standards well. It has a pretty rich feature set of electrical design, so if you're looking for something in the United States, in AutoCAD, that'd be Design Master Electrical. Alternatively, if you want to switch away from AutoCAD, you're looking at BricsCAD. It's going to be cheaper, so you can save some money. It's not written by Autodesk, which for some people is a benefit. It's pretty similar, so most of your workflows are going to stay the same. It is a different program, so there's going to be some transition if you're coming from AutoCAD to switch to a new CAD package. From there, you have two options. It's either AX3000 again or DDS Electrical. Both of these are based in Europe. They've got different feature sets, so you need to get both of those and evaluate which one's going to fit your workflow better. The other choice you could make if you are currently in CAD is to switch to Revit. Revit is effectively the standard for BIM in the electrical design industry. None of the other BIM packages really offer a whole lot electrically. Revit's really kind of it if you're doing electrical design. Switching to Revit is a big commitment to change in your workflows. Revit is not the same as CAD. You're going to have to rethink your workflows, learn new software. You're a little bit late coming to Revit, which has pros and cons actually at this point. A lot of people have been using it already, so you're going to be trying to catch up to what they already know. However, there's a lot of training resources out there that didn't exist when people were starting to use Revit 10, 15 years ago. So you can benefit from everyone else's experience transitioning to Revit. If you commit to using Revit, you're then back to where we were with the Revit scenario, where you have to decide whether you want to use Revit out of the box as it is, or if you want to add something on top of it. So Revit out of the box gets a 5 or 6 on the Electrical BIM Scorecard. You can do your electrical layout. You have some circuiting functionality. They claim voltage drop, but it doesn't really work all that well. There's other electrical features that are missing. That's where something like electrobim comes into play. It's an add-in for Revit. It adds voltage drop that works correctly. It adds wire sizing. It adds fault calculations and single line diagrams. If you want Revit to deliver on the promise of BIM for an electrical engineer, you are going to need electrobim on top of it. That's how I would think about evaluating your options for improving your electrical design process. You're either in CAD or Revit. If you're in CAD, you either are going to stay on CAD or move to Revit. If you're staying in CAD, you're either going to be working in Autocad or BricsCAD. If you're in Autocad, you are going to be either using AX3000 or Design Master Electrical. If you're using BricsCAD, you're either going to be using AX3000 or DDS Electrical. If you're using Revit, either moving from AutoCAD over to Revit or you're already there, you can either use Revit out of the box and wait for Autodesk to make changes, or you can layer electrobim on top of it to get those electrical features that it's currently missing.